You're good.
Okay. All right, guys, welcome to tonight's team call. It's the Fit Family Network team meeting, and tonight is February 22nd. Thank you guys all so much for joining us tonight. I am super excited to have our guest speaker, and she is a Diamond coach. She's one of my personally sponsored coaches, and she just signed up last year. We've known each other for several years. She actually originally knew my husband from back in the day, and then that's kind of how we met and got connected through Facebook after a while. So I'm sure she'll probably share more on how that evolved. But anyways, she has been one of my strongest, most consistent coaches that started last year, and I think that she has a lot of value that she can share for people that are just getting started with their business, as well as people that are, still trying to find their groove, or even people that are veteran coaches. So she's a Success Club. She's on her way to being an all-star. She's been, what are you, like 8 months?
8 months, and hopefully after tonight or tomorrow, 9 months.
Okay. So almost 3/4 of the way done. So we can definitely see the finish line coming up. She went to Winter Summit in this past year. So that was her first big event and already set up. She's a Success Starter. She earned her Success Starter program. So she got her call with Carl Deichler as well as her free ticket to Summit. So she definitely has hit a lot of really awesome benchmarks and has a lot of great things to share and provide value to our team. So we're excited to have you, Sarah, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Oh, yay. All right, well, let me pull up my slides. We did practice this. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing them here. Hold on. See, I told you this would happen. You practice it and then it doesn't come up. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Well, I guess, can you see this at all? All right.
I was on mute. Did you press share screen?
I did, and it's not pulling it up.
Do you have the document open on your desktop already?
I did, and then I just closed it out to bring it back up again.
Okay.
That helps.
That might help.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Nope, it's still not pulling it up.
Well, I have your slides.
Okay.
I can open them and screen share from my end.
All right. Sorry, everyone. I swear we practiced this.
Okay, hold on.
All right. Can everyone see those? Thumbs up. Yep. All right. So, like Jen was saying, my name is Sarah Manaresi, and I am from Dayton, Ohio. I've lived here 13 and a half years because I've been married to my husband that long. And I've been a coach since June of 2015 and recently went Diamond in December. I have 2 boys, 10 and 7, and they have a lot of energy. And I have a degree in TV radio broadcasting. And before kids, I was a radio producer, web content producer, I ran camera, and I worked for the National Hockey League for the Florida Panthers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. But when my oldest came along, I phased those jobs out so that I could be a stay-at-home mom. And that's what I always wanted to do, and so that's what I did. My Beachbody story is a little bit different than most people's. I'm not a product of the product. I had grown up heavy my entire life, probably since around the age of 9. And after weaning my second child, I developed postpartum depression. And I had extreme high anxiety, and we decided as a family that I would take medication to help with that. And I gained even more weight. And I am 5'3", and at my heaviest in the picture on the top, so I'm in the red, I was about 178 pounds. And I had tried losing weight in the past, and nothing really seemed to stick. But, I decided this time enough was enough. So in order to help my anxiety, I started to exercise, and I started eating right, the old-fashioned way. And I found that I really liked exercising, and I liked cooking and things I never knew about myself. So I can now say that I've lost 50 pounds and have kept it off for about 4 years now. And after I lost the weight, I started running, and I wasn't cross-training. So I was running about 4 times a week and doing Zumba or something like that the other 2. So basically I ended up having to do 6 weeks of physical therapy because my kneecap and I were not the best of friends. And this is when Facebook started to become really popular, and Jen noticed that I had this knee injury, and she goes, "Hey, guess what?
Oh, you can sit right here. Someone use it here.
I have this program, and it's called PIO." And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And as Jen was saying, I was friends with Mike and his family since Mike and I were about 14 or 15, I think is when we started hanging out. His dad and my dad were really, really good friends. And so naturally, we were over each other's houses a lot. In fact, Mike was the first person I called when I failed my driver's license the first time hitting a cone. And he's never let me forget about that. But anyway, if you fast forward a couple years, I started working for the Florida Panthers, and Mike's mom had a restaurant near there. So I would stop and say hi and that kind of thing. And this girl started showing up and working there. She's really quiet and shy, really didn't say much, and it was Jen. And she and Mike started dating and eventually got married and went our separate ways kind of thing as you grow up. And then when Facebook started taking off, she friended me, and I really didn't think much of it. She knew me as Mike's friend, and I knew her as Mike's wife. And when little Mikey came along, we started talking a little bit more on a regular basis. So when Jen presented me with the Beachbody opportunity after I had finished PIO, I laughed in her face, because that's the kind of person I am. I had zero desire to want to drink a shake. I had no time to have a career outside of my kids. My husband traveled all the time. We don't have any family in the area. You see how these excuses sound like what's in your job now? Yeah, I was one of those people. I just didn't want to. It wasn't for me. And she said, okay. And I'm pretty sure about like 3 programs from her after that with no shake and that kind of thing. But when my youngest was going to be in school for the full time for the first time this year, I thought about what I wanted to do. I wanted a job to kind of keep me busy, but I wanted something that I'd be passionate about, that it wouldn't be just a job at like a fast food restaurant.
What is that?
Anything like that.
The boxes need to stay there.
I also wanted something.
Hold on.
Yeah.
On your end, because you're the host, I think down in the mute thing, you can click mute all, because I think we have a couple people.
Oh, okay.
Mute.
That's fine.
That.
I don't see mute. Hold on. I don't see a mute all.
Anyone that doesn't have theirs on mute, can you guys just
I found it.
Oh, you see it? Okay, cool.
All right.
All right.
Okay. That good? Okay. So what was I saying? So anyways, when I started thinking about what I wanted to do, because I still want to be a full-time mom, I wanted to have flexible hours, and I really started thinking about what Jen had said, well, why don't you think about becoming a Beachbody coach? And so I started doing some research and reading about reading the contract, and I had some couple questions in the contract. And she's like, so I asked her, what does this mean? She's like, wait, what? Are you thinking about becoming a Beachbody coach? And I'm telling you guys this stuff to make a point. It took me 2 years to become a coach. And, you know, those people who you asked a long time ago and you're like, they'll never do it, you know, it might be someone like me. So don't give up on anybody. And yet again, this is another point that Michael has really not forgotten to let me forget about. So if we can go to slide 2. Okay. So when I went into Beachbody coaching, knowing that I wanted to make this a business, I really hit the ground running. And I became an Emerald in my first month. And like Jen said, I received my free ticket to Summit. I don't know about y'all, but on paper, it looked like I was doing really, really great. But inside, I was a complete overwhelmed mess. There's so much information out there to learn. There's so much information out there that it can drive you crazy. I had no idea how to use Facebook for a business. I had no idea what Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, I mean, the list went on and on. So I really felt like I didn't know what I was doing at all, and I was just kind of fumbling through things. But tonight, I would like to share with you some things that I have figured out on my own and how to make this a business and not a hobby. It's my secret sauce since I like to cook a lot. So we can put to the next slide, please. So every month we get this box that comes with our Shakeology, and on it, it says decide, commit, and succeed. And you know what? That's really can apply to your business as well. The first thing is that you have to decide and you have to commit that this is going to be your business for 1 year. And there are days that I really still doubt myself. You can ask a couple coaches on this team, my panic attack of, oh, I'm not going to hit my success club, you know, that kind of thing. But when I first started, I wrote myself a contract. And on that, I wrote my anniversary date, which is June 1st, 2016. And I said, I'm not allowed to quit until this date. And since now I have tickets to Winter Summit to next year and was able to get a room for the Success Club trip in 2017, that's now become my anniversary date instead. But if you have a dream board, or even if you have a piece of paper like I do, because I have no talent for crafts, so my dream board is just this piece of paper that has a list on it. I have at the top of it my retirement date. And I have said that I'm not allowed to quit until then. And to be honest, until Winter Summit, I had every intention of possibly quitting on that date. But because I wrote down, and then I bought my ticket to the next Winter Summit, and then Scotty Hobbs challenged me to go diamond in 3 weeks. If I did that, then my ticket would be free. So I went on faith and that I would hit this crazy, enormous goal, and God made it happen. I have no idea how it happened to this day, but it happened. And which brings me to my next ingredient, which is the next slide. you need to invest in yourself. And I'm talking a little bit more than just the 3 vital behaviors of, personal development and go out and buy a book or download audio, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But my turning point in my business is because I committed myself to going to the next Winter Summit. Did I have $550 to go to the GoPro event? Not exactly. I used my birthday money to pay for it and was hoping my business would bring that in. But after listening to people like Chalene Johnson and Darren Hardy and a lot of other people, they strongly encourage you to spend 10% or more of your income into personal development. And if you had the pleasure of being on the call with the author of You're a Badass, she said she spent $1,000 of money that she didn't have so she'd be able to invest in herself to write her book. She even called the lady back after she had written the check and sent it and begged her to give her money back, and the lady wouldn't let her. And look what happened with her business and how it took off. So I knew that I thought I was maybe a little bit crazy, but I also knew it's kind of cliche to say you have to spend money to make money, but it really is so true. And what better way to invest in yourself and spending money in yourself? I mean, we tell our clients all the time, our team members, buy Shakeology because you're investing in yourself. Well, as a coach, if you want to advance your business, you invest in yourself, in your not just personal development, but your business development as well. And probably the best investment that I've done so far besides Winter Summit has been when Ron Keese spoke a few months ago, I guess it was last month in January, on the different personality traits. It was only $30, but I have to tell you, it was the best $30 I have ever spent. And here's why. If you go back and listen to the team call, we fall into 4 different personality traits. Now, there are a couple different systems out there, but he goes with the DISC system, D-I-S-C. Did you know that like 67% of all population fall into the I and the S category of personalities? And did you know that from these 2 groups come from most of our coaches? So I discovered that if I geared my posts and my ads to whatever I do to appeal to the I and S personality types, I'll gain the attention of 67% of the people out there. And if I apply it to my niche group, which we all should really focus on and identify for your business to succeed as well, then I can more effectively target the kind of people that I want to attract. Now, I understand because, my business is it's new, it's under a year old. A lot of people don't have a ton of money to spend extra on personal development, but that's not a problem. There's YouTube, there's podcasts, there's tons of information out there. Take advantage of the free trainings your upline coaches offer you as well. I mean, how many of you honestly took advantage of Jen's free Flash Success Club or Success Training? And how many of you actually watched the video that she posted with Melanie Mitro explaining how to do her business? Having taken the course with Ron, I was able to identify why she's so successful. She's a process woman. She needs a process to follow, a roadmap to show her how to succeed. You know what she duplicates and passes down to all of her coaches? A process. You know what high S personalities need in order to succeed? A process. You know where probably half of your current and future downline coaches are going to need? A process, or a secret sauce, as we all like to call it. If you're in this for the long haul, you need to come up with a process in order to duplicate. So if you'll turn to the next slide. For me, my bread and butter program is the 21-Day Fix program. I like to talk to moms. I like to give them recipes and tips on how to manage their day and how to save time and money in their daily life. And so do you know what I have for my 21-Day Fix groups? A process. So I have a script written out for the 4 seasons of the year. My strong point is that I love to cook, so food is seasonal, so I gear it towards that. I write a script and change the recipes in it, and then I'll tweak it here and there for whatever my challenge group really needs. Like if one needs more meal planning, then I'll focus a little bit more on that kind of thing. It takes a little bit to write in the beginning, but then I just use it group after group. And you know what? I can give these scripts to my coaches. It's a process. You know what else? Any program that Beachbody offers in your coach online office, there's a script that goes with every single program out there. Now, it might not be your words, but it's a starting point that you can make it your own. So you can start with your own process and figure out, oh, this is a good rhythm for me, and this is a good script for me. And hey, look, this already has a graphic made for me. So I see my business as a giant wheel. It takes a lot of effort to get it going, and I mean a lot of effort. But when I put the processes into place, then it gives me another rung for me to grab and turn the wheel. And over time, I'm hoping to have so many rungs that I don't have to put in so much effort into spinning it. But it does take time. My aunt is about to be inducted into the Ameriprise Financial Hall of Fame this spring. And I just had a talk with her last weekend. And she said that it takes about 3 years to get a business really going and finding its momentum. Have you noticed that most of our top coaches start hitting their grooves around year 2 and 3? Coincidence? I don't think so. So the next slide, please. But we need to be smart about making our processes. You don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel. We're so lucky to be part of a large coaching family. It's what I love about our team. You don't know how to do something? Ask about it in a team page. All of us have our failing forward moments and are more than willing to share with one another the don't do this, but do that advice. The girl in the top left corner, that's my success partner. We talk at least once a week, if not daily, depending on what's going on. And we bounce ideas back and forth from each other because she's found things that work for her, and she's in a different downline than I am, so it really brings a nice, fresh perspective. Your sponsor coach knows a lot of information, but that being said, don't rely on them for everything. If you need an answer, go out and find it. I needed a process in which to ask people to the coaching opportunity. For whatever reason, that part of the business terrifies me. So what did I do? I asked Jen and I asked Scotty Hobbs if they could at least point me in the general direction of what videos to watch or some scripts to read, and they were very helpful and did that. But you know what? It was up to me to fill in the gaps of where I still felt like I needed to tweak and learn more about. Jen's not my mom. She's not going to make sure that I'm doing my work. She pointed me in the direction, but it's up to me to make it my own. Now, she's been very helpful, and she puts up a lot of my question asking and my freaking out, but I can guarantee you that your sponsor coach or even some of your close coaching friends will invest their time and energy into you if you're showing that you really want to succeed in this business. I had no idea how to work Facebook to my advantage, and so I enrolled on some online classes on how to do it. Again, it's my business, so I treat it like one. So next slide, please. So I'd like to leave you all with some very easy to do, practical tips on making your business succeed for the long haul, your very own secret sauce. So the number one question you have to ask yourself every day is what I'm doing going to advance my business? Is reading your notifications about what Aunt Sally made last night for dinner going to advance your business? Probably not. If you can't answer yes, stop doing it. It will save you time. It's easy to do bunny trails in this business because there is a lot of online stuff to look at. But I find that I can focus myself on what I'm doing if I ask myself, is this advancing my business? That's been a really huge help for me. The second thing you want to do is to make someone stop and read your post. You need to have a colorful picture or video to make them stop. It's like reading a newspaper or a magazine. I mean, honestly, are you going to want to read like 3 pages of article of how New York Fashion Week looked like? I mean, no, of course not. You're going to stop at those those magazines that have pictures of all the fashion, and then you'll start reading the headlines, and then you'll start reading the article. It's how you draw people in. One person on our team who's really good at this is Robin Lodow. She's awesome. You should check out some of her pictures and posts. And you don't have to spend hours upon hours in PicMonkey and Canva. You know, it's just quick. Throw something in there, but you want it to be eye-catching, just bright colors. Anything that's colorful really helps. And if you don't have time to find it, to make it yourself, there's so much stuff out there that's already been published that you can use it. I mean, why not? Why reinvent the wheel? Next slide, please. And another thing that I have found really helpful is to make my posts and pictures evergreen. And that means try to make the majority of your posts and pictures so that you can use them over and over again. If the majority of your pictures are square, you can post it on Instagram. You can post it on Facebook. You can post it on websites. You can post it on Pinterest, as long as you keep the dimension the same. That way you're not redoing the same picture 5 times in 5 different sizes. Just make them square, you know, unless if it's, you know, like for like your banner or something like that. That's a little bit different. But just for everyday posts, you can use the same picture on all formats if you use the correct square size. And then don't date your posts. I mean, obviously, if you have a coaching thing coming up and you have a specific date in it, yeah, that you're going to want to have a date in. But just things that you can just use over and over again. If you use Facebook, for example, just because you think everybody sees it every time you post, it's not true. Facebook has to show that you have a relationship. So it's okay to reuse those posts over and over again. Save the ones that you've gotten a lot of response from, or that Facebook says that it's sent out and has a good organic feed to everybody. So just try something and save it and reuse it in the future. And finally, I have learned that outsourcing saves me so much sanity and time. I'm clumsy when it comes to graphics. I like to be a perfectionist with that. And it will take me an hour to do like something that could take a professional person like 5 minutes to do. And you can go to places like Fiverr, or I had my business cards outsourced to Vistaprint. You know, you wait till they go on sale and then they'll design it for you for $5. I mean, you know how long it would take me to design my own business card? Let's not even talk about it. I mean, be smart about spending your money. You know, think of the things that you really need to invest in that you're going to have to make your business look like a business as well. And you can save a lot of time by outsourcing it. Chalene Johnson talks a lot about it on her Build Your Tribe podcast. I highly recommend those. They're free and they're relatively under 30 minutes. And she has a lot of great information on that. So that's it for my slides, but I wanted to congratulate you because you now have your own secret sauce. And the question is, what are you going to do with this information? Are you going to use it in your coaching? Are you going to be skimpy and only use a little bit here, a little bit there? Or are you going to be bold with your own flavor and sprinkle it on everything? The other thing I would like to challenge you all to do is that I was completely terrified to do this call. To be perfectly honest, I didn't die. How about that? Or pass out or anything like that. I think anybody on any level of whatever coaching level you're on, whether you're a coach, Emerald, 10-star, it doesn't matter. I think everyone has something of value to add. And I would challenge you, even if it's just for 5 minutes, to lead a team call, or maybe a few of you'd like to lead a team call together and just do a 5-minute little thing. Hey, look, this is what's worked for me. Hey, look, this is something that I find really cool, or what I really learned about my own personal development. You don't have to be a 15-star whatever to be valuable. You know, what you have to say is important. So I really challenge you all to do that. So head back to you, Jen. If I unmute you all, that would be helpful.
All right. Well, that was awesome. I loved your last point about, are you going to be skimpy with it or are you going to layer it on? That was clever. I liked it. But yeah, you had so many great points, and I was sharing with Sarah earlier as we were kind of doing like a test run about talking on the Bombshell Dynasty call, and you guys know that I just came back from speaking at an event at that Scotty did, and all of these things, they're way outside of my comfort zone, and they put me in positions where I feel like, you know, what do I have to say to this group of people? But, you know, we all have so many unique things about ourselves and things that we can bring to the table. And even that one little nugget that somebody else picks up that you didn't even have as a highlight of your discussion, and it can really just change somebody's opinion or change their path and change their life, and you don't even know it. So but anyways, did you guys have any questions for Sarah before we head out? It looks like Rachel is moving her lips, but I don't
Okay,
know.
hold on. Unmute Rachel.
Gotcha.
Wait,
Oh, she's back on mute now.
Sorry. Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry. I'm learning how to do this. It's a learning process.
Well, I don't have a question, Sarah. I just wanted to say, and kind of piggyback on what Jen just said, that you did really awesome, and it's a really big deal to speak on a team call, and it's great because I've never heard your story, and I just kind of got a lot out of what you just said, and I got to learn a lot about you. So you did really great.
Okay.
And it's a lot of people's fears to do public speaking, and I congratulated Jen when she went to Utah, because even though she is elite and everything like that, she still has those fears too, so it's quite normal. And so congrats. And yeah, I think that's it.
Well, thank you. That's very encouraging.
You're welcome. You're doing awesome.
Thanks.
And yeah, it's just we're all on this team, and it's so large, and we just not everybody knows everybody, and whose upline is this and whose sponsor coach is that. But at the end, we're all a family, and that's why we have these team calls. I've spoken on the team call too, but it was forever ago before you, and a lot of the people on this call right now are even here. I've been on the team since as long as Jen almost. So a lot of coaches have come and gone, and it's always great to hear and listen to everybody's new stories.
Cool. Thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah, Sarah's story is definitely one to keep in your story bank, as far as having somebody that, you know, had a weight loss success outside of Beachbody, and through that relationship and not, you know, giving up and just staying consistent, you know, she eventually did see how this could be a good fit for her life. But 2 years ago, it wasn't the right time. You know, like 2 years ago, maybe she, you know, if I begged her enough, maybe she would have signed up. But I just kept on building the relationship, knowing that if it was the right time and if it was the right thing for her, she would sign up. If not, she was still a great friend, and she still helped me through lots of those new mom moments where I was like, what is going on? What do I do? So, you know, it's always, timing is such a huge factor with coaching, I've found, for a lot of people.
Definitely. And people who you don't think will ever be on your team. Like I said, I really struggle with the coaching presenting opportunity. Very thankful for this morning's national wake up call. But I had someone clear out of the blue ask me about coaching. I don't even really have a relationship with her, but apparently she's read enough of my posts that she's interested. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, so now I have a whole other fear of like, well, now how am I going to get her going so that it goes right? But, you know, you never know who's watching you. You just don't. You just don't. And you don't know. I mean, I believe in God, and you powerful person upstairs or the vibes in the room or whatever, you don't know what life is going to bring you. So that's one exciting thing about this job is all the different people that you get to meet, and they become like family after a while. So very blessed, definitely.
And now we've got you under contract until 2017.
That's right.
So that's an interesting question, though. So did you actually physically like write a contract and sign your name to it?
I mentally did it. I mean, and I had verbally told my husband, and he's an engineer. So, you know, he knew that he was not allowed to let me quit until then. Because there are days that even now I still am like, oh, I want to just quit and just call it a day. But I think sometimes when you set a goal or you commit to something, then it's harder for you to backtrack out of it, because I think a lot of us as coaches, we have a lot of integrity, and we really want to show that to our downline, to people who are a part of our team, even just people who are in our challenge groups. We want to show them that we're people of integrity. And so for me, especially, knowing that I wouldn't allow myself to do something because I wrote it down mentally, I might have even written on a piece of paper, I can't remember anymore, but I knew if I backed out of that, I wasn't a person of integrity anymore. It's showing that, you know, for me, it's like, well, you're a quitter. And I'm not that kind of person. So I think it gives you a little bit more of a word I'm looking for. It holds you accountable. It just does, you know, and accountability is what we also provide for other people, and we got to do it for ourselves as well. So.
So true. Awesome. Anyone else before we close out? No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Make sure you stop by Sarah's page and show her some love. I'm sure if you guys develop a secret sauce, I'm sure she'd love to hear about it.
Oh, I did forget. Ron Keese said that he would provide you all that same personality test for $30 still. So you just tell him that you are one of Jen's downline coaches, and he'll still honor that. I asked him that last week because I told him I'd mention it in the call. So I can repost that, or Jen can repost his contact information. I highly, highly recommend it, because it's not just that he analyzes your personality. He also does 3 follow-up calls that mine lasted each an hour. And he really works with you in understanding how you process things. And I found that to be really helpful. So there you go.
Great. Yeah, definitely post that in the group if you've got that handy. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for being on, and we will see you next week. Good night. I'll get this uploaded to YouTube, and we can share it with our downline.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. Good night.
Good job. Thank you.